Welcome to Mastermind Monday. My name is Joshua Brown, the founder of Brown's Pressure Washing. And with us today, we have
Josiah LeBeau.
And this is round 2. Last week, we had an epic failure in some upload speed. And so today, we brought you into my house. And so today, welcome to my home. And what we'd like to see is we'd like to invite you into the chat room, whether you're viewing on Facebook or YouTube. And on Mastermind Monday, here's the idea. We want to put you in the center of our conversation. We will cover any conversation, any subject matter, any problem that you might be finding. and we're going to try to address that live. I'll be looking down below and reading your comments, but super excited about today's show. Last week, I kind of prepped today that we were going to have Josiah sharing all of our operational secrets. And so he's going to basically share everything that we do when we're washing a home in the most efficient ways, from when we show up, or maybe even before we show up, to when we end up wrapping up and trying to get the most precious thing that we desire to get, which is a review. And early on, it was my goal to come up with one goal. And it was, what can I do to grow the company? And the idea was this: earn a 5-star review. If we earn a 5-star review, we can grow the company. And so today we're going to share with you how we go about that, and also how we go about a house wash. So Josiah, would you like to go ahead and start just with what you're going to share with us today?
Yeah, I'm actually super excited to share with you guys. This is an area that I've been in for a long time, 6-7 years of trying to earn a 5-star review. And I think that just having that clear goal, that very simple goal of earning a review, is a good filter for a lot of your decisions when you're on site. But today we're actually going to take you step by step on what we do, everything from showing up to the door to wrapping up the hoses and head to the next house. I'm going to take you through first, second, third, fourth, all those things that we do. So let's jump right into it. Is that cool?
Yep, let's do it. And if I see anyone that joins us online and you want to ask any question, I'll be monitoring. And so I'll interrupt you anytime that I see someone ask a question, or if I hear you say something that I'm not certain about, I'll end up saying, hey, would you mind sharing a little bit about that? Just a reminder, the reason we're doing Mastermind Monday is to add as much value to your company as possible. We're going to be giving away this for 51 more weeks, every Monday, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. If you want to be a part of the show, if you want to be a guest, go ahead and subscribe, like, share, and then be ready for Mastermind Mondays at 9 Central Standard Time.
Yeah, and we can also put you in the center, bring you on, and we'll help you take over your biggest problem inside of your business today. But let's jump right into it with step number 1 inside of the perfect job. I want to, before I go too quickly into this, one thing that's important to us here at Browns is our team members are doing all the things that they can do to present themselves as a team beforehand. So they look good, they look presentable, they look like, oh, that guy works at Browns. They don't have confusing, wearing a different hat, wearing a different jacket, but we look like a team. You can tell a lot by someone before you even talk to them, just by looking at them. And so looking presentable is probably one of the main things that we want to do when we show up on site. But first, just making contact. If the customer's home, knock on the door, say, hi, my name's Josiah with Brown's Pressure Washing. Introduce yourself. If they're not home, I do encourage everybody to call. If they don't answer, leave a voicemail, and then send them a text and say, hey, Josiah here with Browns. Just want to let you know that I got to your home, about to get started. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and then move on your way.
Let me interrupt there. How do you know their name? Let's say I'm a tech. I've not met Mrs. Jones. I don't know what my services are, and I'm in a truck. How do I go about finding out that information?
Well, we've got a CRM, a customer base on our phone, which is really cool. And we've got a schedule with every job on there that tells us where to go, who we're servicing, and what services we're providing. Usually our salesman goes out before and has a nice set of notes for the tech. So he should be able to go in there with full confidence. And this, what we're sharing is 10 steps past the first interaction with our customers. So they've had an incredible experience up to this point. And this is the swing at the bat, the home run experience that we want them to have.
Yep.
So they're very well informed, or it should be, before they get on site.
You know, one of the questions we get often is, what CRM do you use? And when I started the business, 2017, the only CRM I had was my phone. And so I was writing notes on napkins, anything that I could find in the car. If someone called my phone, I would, take a pen and just write it on my hand or my arm, because that information was vital. Yeah. And then immediately following 2017, I made the leap and invested in a CRM. And we did not have a ton of customers calling the phones, but I recognized in order for us to get better, we had to create tools that helped us get better. Yeah. And would you mind sharing with them what CRM we use?
Yeah. So a quick thought on that. I remember getting text messages from you, or I think it was Facebook Messenger. I would get Facebook Messenger messages from Josh saying, hey, go to this address and this is this person, we're doing a house wash for them. And that's how we operated for a season. And so we actually use House Call Pro. There's a couple of them out there, but we like House Call Pro the best. It's got a tipping option for the guys. When they go to close out, the customer can leave tips for them. And we want to do whatever we can to get the guys making as much money as possible. And that's part of it.
Yeah. And so let me share with you about CRMs. I have looked at 4 or 5 competitors' CRM, because we're always trying to think, what is our competition doing? What are they using? How can we get better? And so I chatted with ServiceTight, and I chatted with a lot of great CRMs. And when we saw that they did not have the option for our guys to receive tips, it was a sacrifice we couldn't make. Yeah. On average, our guys might bring home, if they're working 40 hours a week, what would you say the average tech is making through our CRM inside of tips?
Through the CRM, I would say it's about, at minimum, probably $50 a week, maybe 100. Obviously that goes up and down throughout the week, but I mean, you could get $200-$300 tips through the CRM a week. If you're a technician, that is huge. Yeah. That's huge for anybody.
So love your team, invest in the $150 to $300 a month for House Call Pro. We have used it. We appreciate it. And I think they've worked out every issue that we have kind of found as being a problem. And so we're big fans.
They've been good to us.
Okay.
So after you've made contact with the customer, one thing that's important is to set clear expectations with the homeowner. A lot of times this has already been done by the salesman, but inside of our company, we've got, we like to say love communicates. And so we want to love that customer so much. We're going to communicate very clearly and effectively to them. I washed this home, and it was a custom home builder's home. And he said, my job for the past 20 years has been go into the homes that I've built for my clients and identify all the things that they did not like about their home and fix all the problems that they've had. I'm like, man, I bet that list gets pretty long. And he said, it gets super long, but if you can identify the top 3 things that they're concerned with and address them, they'll be super happy.
Okay. I'm wanting to know what those top 3 things are.
Yeah. It changes between each customer.
Okay.
And so it's your responsibility as a technician to dive into, okay, what is important to this person? Because what's important to you as a technician may not be important to them. You might be spending a bunch of time on the stepping stones when you should be focusing on the front porch, because that's where they sit and drink their coffee. And so identifying the main areas and being sure to address that and make sure you take care of it. So that was number 1, just make communications, set expectations, and then identify their main concerns.
Yeah, let me stop there and just interject. If you are trying to scale a business, if you're trying to grow from even if it's just you growing your business, it adds a ton of value for you to be able to add value to your job ticket.
Yeah.
And so when you show up, don't assume that everything is priced out correctly and all the value of services have already been given. You want to show up thinking, are there other services that I can provide value in adding on? And if you have a team, it is very wise to incentivize them by a percentage base for upselling. And so one thing that we try to do is give a percentage of every upsell to our technicians, because a tech, when they sign in the morning, their goal is to do what?
Earn a 5-star review.
Yeah, but they also want to get home. And so the last thing a tech wants is a long day. And, but if they can end up walking home with an extra $50, $100 in their pocket because they've added a service, And then the company also is able to add more revenue to their revenue stream. It's a win-win-win. And
Sure.
so teaching what we're about to share is going to help your technicians know, but make sure you give them an extra percentage
Sure.
of whatever they upsell, so they're incentivized to sell more.
Yeah. So basically walking around the property with the customer, identifying additional areas that might could use some cleaning. If I'm walking around for a house wash, I could say something like, it looks like we're cleaning the house for you, getting all the gutters nice and clean. I noticed that your driveway is dirty. Is that something that we're going to do today for you, or are you going to do that, or you want to do that later on? That is a question that they are going to probably most likely respond with, well, that wasn't quoted out, but how much would it be? And it's a very easy segue to introduce the idea of maybe adding on some services that that customer could actually use and could benefit from.
That's good.
We don't want to take advantage of anybody, but when you believe so deeply in these services and what you're providing, it's so easy to add on a service and you're loving that person well.
Yeah, we're going through a leadership book right now called Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
And they say one of the first things you need to do is make it simple, make it easy to say yes to if you're trying to start something or stop something. And when you're on site, if you have the customer right in front of you, if you make it simple that they can get the algae cleaned off of their roof today and look brand new and educate them a little, it's a much easier sell to have the customer in front of you on site.
Definitely. They're not having to call the office. They're not having to go onto the website. They're having a conversation with the person in front of them, and that's hard to avoid.
Awesome.
All right. Step number 2. We are going to take before and after pictures.
Why would we do that? It costs more time and more energy. Why would we take before and after photos?
There's a lot of value inside of taking before and after pictures. One of them is you're going to document and identify pre-existing areas of damages. And then you can also communicate that to the customer. Hey, I noticed that there's a crack in this window before we get started. Just want to make sure that you're aware of that, or this piece of vinyl's coming off. So that is one of them.
Yeah. So question for today, I'd love for you to put this down in the chat. What is a job that the customer tried to blame you for?
Yeah.
That was there before you were there. And so I'd love to hear an event that took place. Did we have an event where a customer ended up blaming us for a problem that was there prior to us showing up? And if we didn't have photos, or we didn't have photos, we ended up getting lost, sued and so forth, which has happened.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we've had lots of situations like that. I can remember one of the most recent ones. We've had our location down in Birmingham. They took before and after pictures of this deck that they were washing. When they were done, the lady was like, "You did damage to my deck," and they were able to go and retrieve those before pictures and show, "Hey, Miss Jones, this was actually already there." And so that kind of goes into, those conversations are a lot easier had when you are communicating up front instead of on the back end of the services. And so super important. Communication is key in all this. Cleaning is like 10% of what we do. But taking before pictures of all the dirty areas and areas of damages, go ahead and start all the services, start cleaning, making sure everything looks good. And then as you're cleaning these areas that you've taken pictures of, what I want you to do is go ahead and take an after picture when you're done. So if you clean the dirtiest side of the house, go ahead and when you're done washing it, take an after picture and then send it to the customer. When you send that to the customer, just send with the text, "Hey, Miss Jones, Josiah again. I just want to send you this picture of the dirty area. By the way, we're about 30 minutes till we're done."
Hey, let me interrupt you. I've got a friend of mine, Joe Dirt, has asked a question. I still remember the first time I saw the movie Joe Dirt, and I haven't ever forgot it since. But Joe Dirt, thank you so much for jumping on the show. You asked a question that is kind of a superpower of Brown's, and I don't say that pridefully. I say it very humbly. He says that getting a review is super difficult. It's harder than pulling teeth. Do we give any type of bonus or incentives in order to get that 5-star review? So anything you want to share there?
Yeah, definitely. what we're talking about right now is all ran through the lens of how do we get a review. And one of the most important things to a customer is communication. And so, first of all, I would look at your operations, say, is this even worthy of a review? Is this really 5-star quality work? But last week, out of all of our customers, we had a 67% close rate on getting a review.
Wow.
That is so crazy. More than half of our customers left reviews. And it's not because we're just cleaning.
Wait a minute. You're saying 67% gave reviews? How do we do that?
Yeah. Well, you definitely want to ask for it. After you've done all the things that I'm about to share with you, at the very end, you definitely want to ask for the review. If you're playing chess, go for the checkmate. You're going to build up your team and build up your strategy for one thing, and it's to capture the king, and the king is the review. At the end of each job, we've got a piece of paper that's got like our website on it and stuff like that. And so we hand them the piece of paper and we say, hey, Miss Jones, it was a pleasure serving you today. If you don't mind, one thing that'd be really helpful to our business is if you just went here and left a review, and asking for the review and handing them something with instructions on how to do that. It eliminates, kind of like what you were saying, make it easy.
Yeah.
Make it as easy as possible for them.
Yeah. And so let me share with you, Joe, we have gone through maybe 4 or 5 different ways we've incentivized our team members to get a review. In the early years, we would give them $5 cash.
Yep. $5 cash per review.
We moved it to a donation to a local crisis pregnancy center where we just said, hey, Mrs. Jones, for every review we get, we make a donation in your name to a local pregnancy center. And most recently this year, we started something a little bit different where every technician that gets a review gets their name inside of a bucket. And at the end of the month, we pull one name out of the hat, and then we have a prize wheel. They get to spin the prize wheel, whatever it lands on. They end up getting that prize. And last month we had one of our favorite techs, which they're all our favorites, but some are more favorable than others, win it. And then what was his prize?
Yeah. So he actually got, I think it was an hour-long massage.
Yeah. And not one of those.
That sounds so nice.
Yeah. Not one of those janky massage parlors, but like a legit massage parlor. So super, super cool experience. We're going to try to capture some of that on video.
Yeah.
But he said no. So we won't be able to do that.
We've got anywhere from massages to Ray-Ban sunglasses, ping pong table for the shop. And so lots of cool prizes on this wheel. And it just makes things fun. It makes work enjoyable. The guys out in the field, they're getting beat up every day. And so how do we make this as enjoyable and as fun? And how do we love them the best that we can?
Yeah. And one other thing we do, Joe, is we use the CRM for automated emails. And so prior to our text coming out, they'll get an email that says, hey, Joshua here, Brown's Pressure Washing. Just want to let you know that our goal is to earn a 5-star review. And so please know that everything our tech does today will be in the hopes of winning your review. So we plant a seed there. When a tech comes up, they can show Mrs. Jones around and they can say, hey, my goal today is to earn a 5-star review. And then at the end, hey, Mrs. Jones, did I earn a 5-star review today? It might sound like we're hungry for it because we are. If you earn a review, you're going to win the game and scale your business. And then at the very, very end, from the thank your tech to a post email from CRM, they'll end up getting a message that says, Mrs. Jones wanted to find out if our team earned a 5-star review. If so, here's a link. If not, give us a call today and let us know what we have to do to earn that review from you. So, Joe, if you're trying to look at the long game from beginning to end, have 4 or 5 ask, and that makes it a lot easier to get that review. And so we're hungry from it. Our customers are once every year to year and a half. And so we may not see them.
We can't afford not to get one.
Yeah.
And the more direct, I would say, the better. I'll even, if the customer's not home, I'll call them and I'll say, give them a rundown of how the job went. Everything turned out great. I do have a quick question for you. If I sent you a link to our review page, would you mind leaving me one real quick? And then don't say anything. Let them respond. They will say yes. And then you send them immediately while you're on the phone, send them the link to the review page, and they'll end up leaving one.
That's a Jedi trick.
Yeah, it's a Jedi trick. We're running a little bit low on time, so I want to make sure that I get through this list. We're at step number 5 right now, creating the before and after picture. Send that to the customer with a script of saying, hey, Miss Jones, here's before and after picture of the worst area. I want to make sure that you saw this, and we're about 30 minutes to an hour of being done. If I saw that, if I was a homeowner and I got a before and after picture and someone said, hey, we've got an hour left until we're done, I'm like, sweet, that looks awesome. Let's go.
All right. I've got a question here from All Seasons, and All Seasons, thank you for joining us again. Here's a question he asked Josiah. Hey, got a quick question. I love the way that intros. Yeah. You're a guy after our own heart. Do y'all wash during the wintertime? Do we wash during the wintertime?
Yeah, we do. We try to wash whenever we can. I mean, the only time that we're really not able to wash is when it's below freezing. And so when we can we wash whenever we can. This is a seasonal business, but it doesn't have to be. We really try to push hard to keep the guys on. That's one of the biggest struggles that a lot of people in our industry have, is how do you keep guys through the wintertime? We want to provide for them the best that we can. So definitely.
So in All Seasons, let me share maybe 2 or 3 thoughts real quick, because we're all running out of time. We go down to maybe 2 to 3 days a week during the winter. That way we're able to give our guys time off. And then we also set up our equipment for winterization. And so we make an easy way to winterize it. And so if you're going to be a business that operates during the winter, you'll have more job leads as a result of the volume out there, because so many guys do take the wintertime off. They don't want to pay for the antifreeze and then winterize vehicles on days that the temperature falls below like 30 or something or so. And so would encourage you to think about harvesting or use that time for hunting. We call our business a seasonal business, and we're farmers. And so we work hard when the season is here, and then we let our guys recover during the winter. But we are hungry and growing and providing jobs for our team. We just work less days of the week when winter gets here.
Yeah. So good question. Thank you for asking that. And maybe we can have another podcast on how to take on wintertime.
I just want to answer these questions. We've got another Joe. Joe's got a question. He said, do y'all blow the lines out with air for the antifreeze? And so I'm assuming he's referring to.
Yeah. So when we go to winterize all of our machines, we do blow all the lines out with air, at least all of our garden hoses. Now with our pressure washers, we run -20 windshield wiper fluid through our machines. There's 2 different ways. You can do it that way, or you can do it with antifreeze. Antifreeze is a bit more expensive, but it doesn't have as much alcohol inside of the mixture, which could end up drying out some of the internals of your pump. But yes, we run air through all of our lines or -20 windshield wiper fluid.
Yep. I hope that helps. If there's any other questions, feel free to ask them below. If you've enjoyed this podcast, we've only got about 3 YouTube video. We've only got about 3 minutes left. Please like, please share, please be here every Monday from 9 to 9:30. Our goal is to add as much value as we possibly can to your business. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, let us know, and we'll send you a link where actually we can stream a video and you can actually be one of our guests. We would love to have you on our show and see whether or not we can help you grow inside of your industry. So let's make it as far as we can with the time that we have.
Speed run. Okay.
You don't have to speed run. We can make part 2 next week, but let's go ahead and see what we got.
Okay. I cannot read that, Caleb. Basically. All right. So once you've sent the text, you're basically going to wrap up all your hoses. You want to go ahead and close out with the customer. Start with all the good things that went on the job. Hey, Miss Jones, the gutters turned out great, blah, 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 blah. I did want to show you that there is some oxidation on the gutters. That was the only thing that we weren't able to get off for you, but everything else turned out great. Do the ask for the review, and then ask for a yard sign as well to be put up in their yard. And then one of the most important parts of the job is posting the before and after pictures on Google. Upload it to Google. This will help our SEOs, help us move up in the rankings, and it will show Google that there's activity from all over being, cheddar being thrown into Google. So that was an important thing. And then move on to your next job.
Yep. And let me share something in regards to that. Every photo you take is geo stamped, and it also has a timestamp.
Mhm.
And so when you take a photo, upload it to your Google My Business or Google Business Profile Manager, you are doing yourself a ton of favor, because you'll end up growing, because Google will end up bringing your website to the front of page as you continually upload photos of houses that you pressure wash and so forth. So that is a massive step in how we have grown to where we are today.
Yep. I think that's it.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for, I'm going to see if we have any more questions. It looks like we're good to go. Let me thank you for joining us today. If you have any other questions, you're watching this video from a different day or different moment than live, I'd invite you to ask questions below. We're going to take those questions down. We'll start up next week's show. It's going to be what day?
Next Monday.
Next Monday, 9 to 9:30. And we can only handle the questions that were asked. And so if you ask them, we'll get to it. So thank you. And that's the show.
See you guys.
Peace.